श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अद्य अहं श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतायाः 8मोऽध्यायः पठनं करिष्यामि। ॐ श्रीपरमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अथ 8मोऽध्यायः अक्षरब्रह्मयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरो विसर्गः कर्म संयितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवत्र देहे देहभृतां वर अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः। तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामेवैष्यस्य संशयः। अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणामनुशासितारम् अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचार्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्न्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेतः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः आब्रह्मभुवनाल्लोकाः पुनरावृतिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां तेहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तमाहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तःस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततं यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ अग्निर्ज्योतिरहः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनं तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते श्रुति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपःसु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम् ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे अक्षरब्रह्मयोगो नाम 8मोऽध्यायः हरिः ओम्. Now I'll be giving you the summary of the 8th chapter in the Geetha. Arjuna inquired, "O Lord, please explain to me, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how is he situated in the body? And how can those engaged in faithful service to you know you at the time of death?" Lord Krishna said, Brahman is the supreme indestructible living entity, the material nature of which is called the self, Adhyatma. That action which brings about the birth and development of material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities. The Adhibhuta is the physical nature which is constantly changing. The universal form of the Lord, which includes the demigods, sun and moon, is called the Adhideva. And I, the super soul situated in all living entities, I am the Adhiyagnya, the Lord of sacrifice. At the time of death, however, whoever relinquishes his body remembering me alone without doubt attains me. O son of Kunti, whatever state of being one remembers at the time of death, he will attain that state, being absorbed in its thought. Therefore, remember me at all times and do your duty. With your mind and intellect fixed on me, you shall come to me without doubt. O Arjuna, a person who is engaged in devotion to me and whose thoughts are constantly fixed on me attains me. One should understand the super soul as the knower of everything, the oldest as the ruler, smaller than the smallest, the sustainer of everything, the inconceivable form, and effulgent like the sun, who is beyond material nature. One who at the time of death, through the power of yoga, fixes his life air between the eyebrows and with an undeviating mind remembers the Supreme Lord will certainly attain him. I shall speak briefly to you of that infallible goal which people learned in the Vedas describe, into which ascetics free from attachment enter and desiring which they practice celibacy. A person seated in yogic position breathes free from all sensual attachments and fixes his mind on the heart and life air at the top of his head, thus establishing himself in yoga. Continuing in this position and chanting the sacred syllable Om, if one thinks of the Supreme Lord and quits his body, he will reach the spiritual planets. Arjuna, I am easily won by one who remembers me constantly with undivided attention, for he is a true yogi who is ever united with me. Reaching me, these great souls are released from the cycle of birth and death, for they have attained the ultimate perfection. O Arjuna, from the highest planet to the lowest, all face repeated births and deaths, but those who reach me are never reborn. By human calculation, the day of Brahma lasts for 1,000 yugas and his night lasts for 1,000 yugas. With the arrival of the day of Brahma, all living entities manifest from the invisible state, and with the coming of the night, turn invisible once again. Again and again, O Arjuna, all living creatures are helplessly destroyed with the arrival of Brahma's night, and they again come into being with the arrival of his day. However, there is another invisible energy that is eternal and higher than this, which does not die when all other creations perish. That other invisible realm, said to be infallible, considered the supreme destination, that place which having reached one doesn't return, is my supreme abode. O Arjuna, the Supreme Lord, who is all-pervading and in whom all things reside, is attainable by pure devotion. O best of the Bharata dynasty, I shall now explain to you the different times when yogis departing at death either return or do not return. Those who know Brahman and pass away during fire, light, and auspicious time of day, the bright lunar fortnight, and the 6 months of the sun's northern solstice, go to Brahman. The mystic who passes away during smoke, night, the dark lunar fortnight, and the sun's 6 months southern solstice attains the lunar light and returns. According to the Vedas, there are 2 ways of leaving the world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes away during light, one does not return, but during darkness, one returns. Aware of these 2 paths, the devotee is never confused. Therefore, O Arjuna, at all times be steadfast in yoga. Knowing all of this, the mystic transcends the results attained by study of the Vedas, sacrifice, austerity, charity, as well as the fruit of piety. By performing devotional service, he attains the supreme primal abode. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed listening.